Michigan, in this great city, are in this wonderful ballpark for this rivalry. The Chicago Cubs, the St. Louis Cardinals, and it's all for you today, right here on Fox. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. That is Tim McCarver. And, well, happy Memorial Day weekend to you. And as we play here at the end of the month of May, you want to give the folks a few things that have jumped out at you so far this season.
Well, the game of baseball is full of surprises. I mean, before the season began, had you told us that the Cardinals would not be in first place at the end of May, or that Albert Pujols would have only 2 home runs in the month of May, and that Carlos Silva would be the best pitcher on the Cubs, would have said, get out of here. No way. But that's true.
It is.
It is.
It is. Carlos Silva is on the mound today for the Cubs. Adam Ottavino will make his Major League debut today for the St. Louis Cardinals. You know the faces, you know the names, you know the history, you know what goes into this thing, the fun that'll be had in this ballpark, and maybe for you at home. Let's take a break. Come back. Baseball on the other side on Fox. Wind is blowing in. It's been blowing in a lot this season here at Wrigley Field. Great day out on the lake, and this game is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning. The beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. How about the Taco Bell starting lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals? Tony La Russa put pen to paper and came up with this. Felipe Lopez leads off. He's at short. Ryan Ludwig is in right field batting second. Then Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday, the 3-4 combination. Colby Rasmus backs up Holliday. Then David Freese, the rookie's having a great season. Yadier Molina does the catching. Skip Schumacher batting eighth. And Adam Ottavino makes his Major League debut here today at Wrigley Field. And here is Carlos Silva, a record of 6-0. Makes his 10th start. You just talked about him. He's been the big surprise for the Cubs so far this season.
He won 5 games in 2008 and 2009, and in 2 months he has won one more than that. A guy who stays ahead, gets left-handed batters out very well. He's walked only 11 and he's trying to become 7-0 for the first time for the Cubs to begin the season since 1934. That's a long time.
It's a long time. That was the Sprint pitcher profile for Carlos Silva, and there's Lou Piniella. We talked to before the game, and here comes Felipe Lopez. We'll talk about Lou, talk about his situation here with the Cubs. Had a great first 2 years, won the division back-to-back seasons. They've been about a 500 ball club since the end of 08. And off we go here today at Wrigley. Felipe Lopez takes the ball high. Typically, Carlos Silva is a strike-throwing machine. 31-year-old Venezuelan right-hander. Had 2 miserable years with Seattle and was a major disappointment after signing a big contract to go to the Mariners. And they basically swapped him for a headache, Milton Bradley, going to the Pacific Northwest. That's strike 2 on Felipe Lopez. Will be followed by Ryan Ludwig and then Albert Pujols. Ludwig is on a 13-game hitting streak here at Wrigley. Went deep yesterday. Here's a 1-2 pitch. To the right side, easy for Derek Lee, former Gold Glove Award winner, to the bag, 1-out. Take a look at the defense for the Cubs. It's brought to you by Scott's in the outfield. They have Alfonso Soriano, Marlon Byrd, and Kosuke Fukudome in right. Fontenot, the rookie, the 20-year-old, Starlin Castro at short. Ryan Theriot, Derek Lee. Coy Hill was a late addition to the lineup, as Giovanni Soto is sick. He is available today but not able to start, and it's Coy Hill catching Silva, who's retired the first hitter. And here's Ludwig, takes strike 1. 70% of first pitches are strikes this season from Carlos Silva. So if you're the Cardinals, go up there ready to swing it. That's inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's extraordinary. I mean, 7 out of 10 pitches thrown on the first pitch, regardless of what they were, have been strikes. That leads the major leagues, by the way.
That's a late swing and a foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They're the last 13 games here at this park for Ryan Ludwig. Big average, went deep yesterday. His 6th home run during the 13-game hitting streak. Overall this season, hitting .290 as he takes ball 2 down and away. Here's yesterday. And this took it from 5-1 to 7-1, and that's the way it ended as the Cardinals took game 1 of this weekend series. Here's a 2-2. Full count. 93 with a fastball from Silva. Cardinals start today 28-21, a game behind Cincinnati. Cincinnati won big last night, and the Cubs are 3 games under 500, 2 out. As Silva rings up strikeout number 1. How about the 4 keys to the game, Tim? What do you think?
The Cardinals trying to rally around the rookie, Adam Ottavino. And as far as the Cubs are concerned, forget about hockey. Concentrate on baseball.
Sure, that might apply to most in this city.
Yeah.
Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals is tonight at the United Center with the Blackhawks and the Flyers. That's ball inside to Albert Pujols.
We ran into the Flyers last night at a restaurant eating dinner, and your buddy Chris Pronger, came over to the table and said hello. What a big guy he is.
Huge guy. Great defenseman, and he's got his name on that cup, trying to do it for the 2nd time in his career. And the Flyers have been a remarkable story as strike is into Pujols 2-1. Obviously a red-hot club coming into the finals, but the Blackhawks have just been building all year. And they'll be tough to beat. That's fouled back and out of play, 2-2. Tony La Russa, the Cardinal manager, is toying with the idea of going to the game tonight. And in my judgment and in my opinion, there is nothing like the Stanley Cup Finals, that end-to-end action. If you have a rooting interest in it, it's exhilarating. That's in under the hands of Pujols, who fouls it over the Cub dugout. Still 2-2.
Just like this rivalry, Cards and the Cubs.
Ottavino will get a taste of it momentarily. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on for St. Louis in the first. And another foul by Pujols. Tim talked about it during our open. It's been a down month of May for Albert Pujols. Hitting just .266, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. Hit a long home run on Thursday in San Diego. The 2-2. And a good start for Silva. Back-to-back strikeouts and a perfect first inning. The Jordan statue with a Blackhawks jersey on it in front of the United Center. We're at Wrigley. No score. Coleman leads it off, and Terrio in the number 2 spot. Derek Lee hits third. Alfonso Soriano is having a comeback season. He cleans up. Marlon Byrd, first-year Cub, in center. Mike Fontenot for the injured Aramis Ramirez, still dealing with a bruised thumb. Starlin Castro, the rookie, Coy Hill, and Carlos Silva does the pitching, and he bats ninth. Here is Ottavino, and his numbers this season from Memphis. Former first-round draft pick, and he's made 100 career starts in the minor leagues, 30 and 35 with an ERA over 4. There are his numbers this season. Cardinals like what they saw in the spring. He has been getting better within this year. And because of the injury to Kyle Loesch, who's had surgery, here's Ottavino, who fires a 93-mile-per-hour fastball to strike 1.
Try to throw it as fast as you can if you're making your major league debut. And don't think about things. Let your body take over.
Tony La Russa talked to him before the game and said, look, admit that you're nervous. It's okay. And if you're not telling me you're nervous, there are his parents. John is scoring with his own, I don't know if he's charting his pitches or whatever he's doing. From Brooklyn is Adam, and he starts his major league career with a strikeout of Fukunome. So there you go. A good start for the Cardinal rookie right-hander.
That's that 2-seam fastball that Tony La Russa said he was working on. And yes, says John. All right.
Mom with a Brooklyn hat. Adam is a 24-year-old right-hander, 6'4". Was a 30th pick overall back in 2006, and here he is in the big leagues. 95 down and away, ball 1. Cardinals right now have 3 rookies in their rotation. Ottavino, Jaime Garcia, who's been phenomenal, and then P.J. Walters, who got a win on Thursday as the Cardinals avoided a sweep in San Diego.
Joe, I think Jaime Garcia is going to be a star in the National League. He may already be there.
Schumacher comes in, backs up, makes the play, 2 out. And here is the sprint pitcher profile for Ottavino.
We talked about that 2-seam fastball. That's what Tony La Russa said that Adam is working on. Of course, his major league debut, young, raw talent. 6'4.5", 230 pounds. About the size of Chris Pronger.
Put Pronger on skates, and it's imposing. 2 out, nobody on. Here's Derek Lee. Cubs hoping that he builds on a pretty good week. He had a terrible first month. He is notoriously a slow starter. He's a career .317 hitter in June. And good news for Derek Lee. We're almost to June. 1 ball, 1 strike from Ottavino. Pretty good life on that fastball. Derek Lee overall this season 6 homers, hitting .246. There's another strike. 95 from the Cardinal right-hander. Unique delivery. Comes right over the top, and Ottavino's 1-2 pitch on the way. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals called up a young left-hander by the name of Evan McLean. And should Ottavino have a rough day here today, McLean would pitch. Try and save the Cardinal bullpen. Derek Lee takes outside, and it's a full count.
Kind of dual starters today with Ottavino and McLean in the wings.
Cardinals shipped out Joe Mather. Here's a 3-2. And Lee spoils it. Good piece of hitting by Derek Lee. Still a full count. If Lee reaches, Soriano waits in the on-deck circle. And it's been much better this season for Soriano, who has that left knee surgically repaired and a little more sturdy underneath him. Here's a 3-2. And a 2-out walk. Take a look at the Cardinals defense. It's brought to you by Scott's. Matt Holliday is in left. Colby Rasmus in center. Ryan Ludwig in right with David Freese, Felipe Lopez, Skip Schumacher, and Albert Pujols around the infield. And Yadier Molina does the catching for Ottavino, who just issued a 2-out walk and now deals with Soriano. Soriano is happy to be reunited with Rudy Jaramillo, the hitting coach. First year with the Cubs, and the two were together when they were in the Rangers organization, ball 1. Really a down year last year for Soriano. At .241, just 20 home runs and 55 RBIs. That's it. In the middle of a long, big contract with Chicago.
Well, you talked about Alfonso's left knee problems. You can't make the club in the tub, as the old saying goes. Tough enough to play the game healthy, much less hurt.
Signed a $136 million deal with the Cubs in 07. Here's a 1-0 pitch. A little high, 2-0. But this is a guy that when he was with Jaramillo in Texas in 04-05, hit 28 home runs in 04, hit 36 home runs in 05. Had a 40-40 year with Washington, and then he came to Chicago. 2-0 pitch, 3-0. So the first batter, Fukudome, struck out. Terrio grounded out. A walk to Derek Lee, and now Ottavino is 3-0 on Soriano. This is a Cubs offense that's really looking to break out. They need it. Lou Piniella needs it. Pitching staff needs it. There's a strike, 3-1.
Cubs scoring 1 run yesterday. Pinch hit home run by Tyler Coleman. And then he drove in the only run on Thursday as they won 1-0 over the Dodgers. 2 runs in the last 2 games. Fortunate to be 1-1.
3-1 pitch is in for strike 2. Didn't let up the throw at 95 miles per hour. So full count with Marlon Byrd on deck. Ottavino's 3-2 pitch to Soriano. Runner goes, and a fly ball into left. Easy for Holliday, and Ottavino is through a scoreless first inning. A walk, a man left. Mom and Dad are happy. Off we go to the second. Who couldn't be happy in this park on this day? No score. We're into the second, no score, one base runner, a 2-out walk, and then Ottavino came back to get Soriano after falling behind 3-0. So for St. Louis, it'll be Holiday, Rasmus, and Freese. And we'll see how that good sink to these pitches from Carlos Silva works to the right-handed power of the Cardinals. This is part of it. Matt Holliday, who's hit just 5 home runs. He takes the ball high. Tony La Russa moved Holliday into the number 3 spot and put Pujols behind him for 5 games to try and get Holliday going, and he's been better. He's on to start the second with a base hit to right. The Cardinals have their first base runner. If you want to see your name on air, play MLB on Fox. Tune in to win. Right now on foxsports.com/tunein. Make your predictions during today's game between the Cards and Cubs. Hurry up. Your predictions must be submitted by the end of the second. Stick around to increase your chances of winning the 7th inning bonus question. Winners will be announced on air during the 9th inning. Log on to foxsports.com/tunein to play right now. Here is Rasmus. Strike 1. Good fastball from Silva. Colby Rasmus, glasses on, a .268 average, 7 homers, 20 RBIs. Been streaky so far this season. He's got some pop and a left-handed bat. He takes strike 2.
That was an interesting comment, Joe, that you made. Tony La Russa moving Holliday in front of Pujols. Normally, if you have 2 guys like that, 2 clearly the power guys in your lineup, you try to have them work in tandem. Normally the 3 and 4 spot or the 4 and 5 spot. But the Cardinals have not had that production out of Holliday. Holliday has only driven in Albert Pujols twice this year. It's a staggering thought at the end of May.
Especially considering how much Pujols is on base. He's hitting over 300. He is number 3 in the National League with 34 walks. There's a strike over the outside corner, 1 away as Colby Rasmus becomes the 3rd strikeout victim for Carlos Silva.
It is rare when you see a guy like Rasmus go up and not swing at any pitch, taking 3 strikes for the first out here in the second.
So 1 on, 1 out for David Freese. Talking to Mark McGwire before today's game about Freese, and he just thinks that Freese is like a throwback. He reminded McGwire of what the veterans were like when he first came up.
That's nice.
He said Freese doesn't complain about anything. Little nicks and bruises, whatever, just put me in. Got the day off yesterday. First time for that for Freese, and now he's back in there today. Took a strike. That's into center field. Marlon Byrd coming on, and a diving catch for out number 2.
Listening to the Cub broadcast yesterday afternoon, and Bob Brinley said that Marlon Byrd is the best that he has seen, along with Andre Jones, on that particular play of diving on balls in front of him. Of course, you have to play a shallow center field to be in position to do that. But that is high praise coming from Bob. Bob and Lynn Casper doing the Cub broadcast on WGN.
Here's Yadier Molina. There's a check on a Holiday over at first. He's there with 2 out.
Some guys can't dive for balls. A guy like Andre Dawson with knee problems, the MVP for the Cubs back in the middle 80s. But he was a guy who couldn't dive for balls. A guy like Mike Schmidt, a 3rd baseman for the Phillies, a Hall of Famer. Best 3rd baseman in the history of the game, in my view. And he was a guy who could not dive for balls because of knee problems.
Yadier Molina at the plate. First pitch was a foul straight back. Molina hitting .265. 1 on, 2 out, and a ball down and in. The sink to that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yadier Molina is number 1 in the big leagues as far as RBIs by catchers. 1 better than Rod Barajas, who's been very good in his first year with the Mets. That's strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I had to look at it twice when I wrote down Yadier Molina's 6 stolen bases so far this season. Look at that game. 12-10, the Indians have come back and they lead the Yankees in the 7th at Yankee Stadium. Did you like Brenly when he worked with us? Here's a grinder foul outside third. I never got the impression that you really cared much for him.
Well, I'll tell you.
He's great. What a great guy. Terrific. Wonderful sense of humor, and my second favorite analyst in the game.
That's diplomatic.
Ron Darling is really, really my favorite. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 2 out. Silva brings it, and it's inside, 2-2. Cardinals start the day a game behind Cincinnati. Cubs are 6 behind the Reds. Cubs have won 8 of their last 12. The Cardinals coming off a 5-2 homestand. They lost 2 of 3 in San Diego. They're 2-2 on this road trip. And with the count 2-2, Molina fouls it away. Home plate umpire today is Hunter Wendelstedt. Joined by Mike Estabrook at first, Dan Bellino at second, and Mike Winters is the crew chief. As Mike Shannon likes to say, he's in the rocking chair over at third. Joe West is not at the ballpark today. He is not part of this crew.
Or in the Chicago area.
No. But written a lot about in the Chicago papers. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That's strike 3, and a good start for Silva. Talk about West in the bottom of the second. 4 strikeouts for Silva. A hit, a man left after an inning and a half at Wrigley, no score. Bottom of the second for Chicago. Byrd, Fontenot, and the rookie Starlin Castro against Ottavino. And a strike as called by Hunter Wendelstedt. Hunter is wearing a microphone for us, and he had a little discussion, and not all discussions between umpires and players are heated or awkward. We'll play it for you after Byrd does something to start the second. Nice little conversation he had with Yadier Molina after Molina was called out on strikes to end the top of the inning.
It was a very civil affair.
It was.
Yes.
You know that just as well as Yadier. Now you got to go stand with that person you're arguing with. It could get awkward. Here's a ground ball to second. Schumacher makes the play, and here's the conversation after the strikeout of Molina.
Right over the inside corner.
Right over?
Yeah.
It wasn't gliding. It came out.
No, it's over the plate.
It touched the plate?
It touched the plate.
Yeah, see, catchers are hampered in what they can say to an umpire because they have to get right back out there, and they need close pitches like that for their pitcher.
Well, when you look at what the Cardinals have been able to do at shutting down the opposition's running game since Yadier Molina took over full-time in 2005, his impact on the game for St. Louis is really impressive. The Cardinals, with Molina behind the plate since 2005, have allowed a total of 257 stolen bases. The next lowest total in baseball is Minnesota, having allowed 360. Here's a shot into the gap. Off the bat of Fontenot, extra bases all the way to the ivy. Fontenot will dig and make it to third with one out. It's a triple for the Cubs' third baseman.
Fontenot is not a big hitter, so when he finds the gap, he's going to run forever. You can see center fielder Colby Rasmus into left center. Ludwig was straight away. So Fontenot finding a hole and gets his second triple of the year.
So he's there with one out as Ottavino gives up his first big league hit, and now it's up to the rookie Starlin Castro, who has struggled of late. Infield comes in, and strike one from Ottavino.
After starting out back, the two middle infielders, Felipe Lopez and Skip Schumacher, coming in at the last minute. We'll see if they do it again. This is very difficult for third base coach Mike Quade. Do you send them on a ground ball up the middle or hold them? Now they're in all the way.
Here's a chopper. Schumacher makes the play, and the runner holds at third, 2 out. La Russa, Tim, likes to get movement, especially with a young player at the plate, and that's why that infield comes in late.
Almost like an accordion with the infield.
And so they came in, and right into the waiting glove of Skip Schumacher went that bouncer off the bat of Castro.
Yeah, plus it's a good idea to do with the bottom of the order coming up, because the bottom of the order doesn't have the power that the beginning or middle of the order does. So it worked for the Cardinals.
And now it takes a 2-out hit from Coy Hill. That's outside ball one, and here's the Cardinal infield moving in as Ottavino comes set. So that's going on behind the pitcher, and Castro hit the chopper to Schumacher. And now a 1-0 pitch with Silva on deck on the inside corner. Coy Hill is hitting only .209. Is a very good catcher, a defensive catcher. Is just a .214 lifetime hitter. Trying to put the Cubs on top with a 2-out RBI. Here's a 1-1. That misses, 2 balls and a strike. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and we want to talk to Ken about the Joe West situation with the White Sox and Mark Burley and Ozzie Guillen and other things to talk to him about it. Here's a line drive into center right at Rasmus, and the inning is over. Coy Hill hit it hard, but right at Rasmus. A 1-out triple wasted by Chicago after 2. They'll score at Wrigley. Back after this from your local Fox station. Saturday baseball presented by Budweiser. One of the great scenes in all of sports is Wrigley Field on a day like this. Crystal clear blue sky. Cubs and Cardinals make it that much more enjoyable as Schumacher fouls away strike one, and Silva's been very sharp here at the beginning. 4 strikeouts, 1 hit. The 0-1 to Schumacher, who's been coming on of late, hitting .244 overall. It's high, a ball and a strike. It will be Schumacher, then Ottavino, then Felipe Lopez for St. Louis here in the third. 1-1. Strike 2. Finale of this 3-game series is tomorrow. Adam Wainwright against Ryan Dempster. And this city will be jumping tonight with the Blackhawks and Flyers getting together for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Carlos Silva. Drives him off the plate, 2-2. Silva came up with the Phillies in 2002. Good years in Minnesota, 2004 through 2007. 2008 and 2009 after a 4-year, $48 million deal with Seattle were rough. Combined 5-18 and an ERA of 6.81, and opponents hit .330 against Silva. He was a disappointment. Milton Bradley was a disappointment with the Cubs, and so the two were traded for one another. Here's a 2-2 and another foul. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Ken, it's certainly a surprise that Silva is off to the kind of start he's off to here with the Cubs.
No question, Joe, and really they weren't expecting much at all. They thought at best there was a slim chance he'd be a 5th starter, but more likely he'd be a long man. But he met with Larry Rothschild, the Cubs pitching coach, had a bullpen session at Northwestern University during the Cubs winter convention. They hit it off immediately. Rothschild had studied some video of Silva. He suggested some mechanical changes. Now Rothschild says, hey, this guy just needed a change of scenery. But when I called Mariners GM Jack Zarenzik yesterday, Zarenzik said we didn't even see flashes last year of what he's doing right now.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, and I'm sure Seattle's saying, yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your time in Chicago. That was fun having you here with the Mariners. Strike 1 on a swinging strike by Ottavino.
Yeah, the Cubs are getting what the Mariners thought they would be getting.
And the Mariners are getting exactly what the world thought they would get with Milton Bradley, which is more issues. And the guy's going through a lot. Spent some time away from the ball club trying to get himself together, but it's been a disappointing season again for Milton Bradley. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Ottavino, who we now know throws right and bats left. It's outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's the longest report Ken Rosenthal's ever done from down in the seats, and it follows his big feature article in Sports Illustrated. That's down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was very, very nice and well deserved.
Absolutely. There he is. That's our guy, Kenny. Gives us information that we pass off as our own. He's very unselfish. Here's a 2-2 and a strikeout for Silva. How about 6 strikeouts through 2 2/3? 2 out, nobody on.
Moving the ball around. Carlos Silva doing exactly what Lou Piniella said he would be doing. Changing speeds, moving the ball from left to right, outside the left-handers. Remember, left-handed hitters have hit .208 against him this year.
Here's Felipe Lopez, 2 out, nobody on. Lopez grounded out his first time, and he takes ball 1 down and in. It's also nice before the game, Tim, to see our own Ken Rosenthal and Lou Piniella come together in Lou's office and bury the hatchet and smile and shake hands and move on.
Extend the olive branch.
That felt good, didn't it, Kenny?
Everything is fine, Joe. And you know how these things go. The media blew everything out of proportion.
Yeah, the media. That's on the inside corner, strike 2. You're part of the media. You're part of the print media.
How about that?
In the former life, before he became a TV star featured in Sports Illustrated.
That's the one thing about Joe. He never puts you on the spot, right, Ken?
How about on the spot and hitting spots is Carlos Silva. Struck out the side in the 3rd inning, 7 strikeouts. Piniella and Rosenthal all good. So's this game. No score after 2.5. Hack, and he fouls it into the Cardinal dugout. Strike one. Ottavino struck out the first batter he faced. Silva has been terrific. 7 strikeouts through 3. Trying to find a dangerous slashed foul ball into the seats beyond the Cardinal dugout. Trying to find his second hit is Silva, 1 for 15, wearing the Cub uniform. Ottavino with 2 quick strikes. We talked to Tony La Russa between top and bottom of the inning, and we'll play that for you here in a moment. That's high, ball 1. Cardinal manager is in his 15th season.
Hard to believe.
It is, with the Cardinals, and there's strikeout number 2 for Ottavino, and that was the first question and the topic of conversation with La Russa, that he has to be thrilled with the way Ottavino has looked so far.
Well, I am. It's always fun to watch a guy make his debut, and tough ballpark, tough ball club, but he's handled himself very well. And, I mean, he's got plenty of talent, so it's just a matter of where they can locate it.
Now, he got around the 1-out triple by Fontenot last inning, and I've seen you at times bring your infield in late. You get movement going behind the pitcher, and Starlin Castro ends up bouncing out to second base.
Well, the way Silva's pitching, I don't think we're going to be able to give away many runs, so it was worth a risk. It's a risky player in the game, but I just felt like, it's a good shot to take when you have a little bit of a disadvantage as far as a matchup.
Hey, what needs to happen real quick, and then we'll let you go, for your team to take the next step, get hot again, and reel off some wins like you were doing earlier in the season?
Well, we had a great rotation, so we need to get Penny back quickly, and Loesch, and our big guys, just start stringing together better offensive games more consistently. But we're going to be all right. We got a good club.
Thanks for your time, Tony.
One thing, can I say hello and to my brother-in-law Vic in Tampa, and I keep on getting well.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, Tony. Cardinal manager number 3 on the all-time wins list. Watching Ottavino do well in his major league debut. He is behind on the count to Fukudome, 3-1, with Terrio on deck.
Tony La Russa grew up in Tampa and has fond memories of watching his father play checkers against Al Lopez. Senor Lopez, the magnificent manager in the 50s, 60s, died at I think he was 96 last year when he died. And Tony, a 9 or 10-year-old child, watching his dad and the senior playing checkers as a kid.
And he played as a kid against Lou Piniella.
Yeah, right.
Who's in the other dugout. Here's Terrio after the one-out walk to Fukudome. Ryan bounced out to second his first time up. There goes the runner. Fukudome, throw down by Molina, and Fukudome's out by plenty.
That's a blown hit and run right there. Either Fukudome running on a hit and run, or Terrio allowing one to pass. Very unusual. I mean, Ryan Terrio is not a particularly selective hitter, and that's an understatement. He's walked only 7 times. Only once since May 1st. Once.
It was reported, and Piniella reminded us today, that he told Terrio, I'm going to take your car away from you and make you walk home after one of these games just so you get it in your system.
He said, here, you walk once, you walk between races. You walk once with the Kentucky Derby, and then once on Memorial Day weekend when the Indy 500s run.
Here's a 2-1 pitch up and in. Ottavino is getting dangerously close to giving Terrio his second walk since the 1st of May. Here's a 3-1 pitch, and Terrio was taking. It's a full count. You don't want to take his aggressive nature away from him.
That's a good point. That's exactly right.
Dave Duncan watching. 3-2 pitch struck him out over the outside corner. And so taking on 3-1, taking on 3-2, and the only walk Terrio makes is back to the dugout to get his glove. After 3, no score at Wrigley. Beat that heartburn heat. Zantac, and by priority mail, flat rate boxes only from the Postal Service. Beautiful day in Chicago, and a terrific start for Carlos Silva. He's allowed 1 hit, a leadoff hit by Holiday in the second. Otherwise, he has struck out 7. That's a season high already, and we're just starting the 4th inning. His career high is 8. which he did for the Twins against Philadelphia in June of 2004. And he starts Ludwig, who struck out his first time with strike one. Ludwig, Pujols, Holiday for St. Louis. That's inside. A ball and a strike, and Silva's moved it around well here in the first few innings.
Eric Ludwig throwing left-handed and hitting right-handed. There have only been 57 position players in the history of baseball to throw left and bat right. 57. And that's out of 9,400 position players.
Wow.
How staggering is that?
That's inside, and the former All-Star takes ball 3, 3-1.
I said Ryan, I meant Eric Lindquist. Or Ludwig.
Switch it around.
I'll be all right.
This is Ryan. Eric's his brother.
Ryan Ludwig.
You got it.
One of 57.
Yes. Go. Finish it.
Players in the history of baseball that throw left and hit right.
Yes.
That's out of 9,400 position players.
Here's a grounder to third, and Ludwig is out to start the inning, and that's the way the fourth inning begins.
Ryan.
MLB is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer. Visit standuptocancer.org to learn how you can help us in the fight against cancer. Here's Albert Pujols. First time up, Silva kept the ball in on the hands of Albert Pujols, and yet, Tim, I know in the past you have marveled at Pujols' ability to pull the hands in and keep the ball fair down the left field line.
He's one of the few guys who can hit the inside pitch off the plate inside and keep it fair.
There
a pitch like that. That's a two-seam fastball. Henry Aaron could do it. Barry Bonds could do it. But very few hitters. Of course, that pitch just ate him up running inside.
Silva's got good stuff here today. 1-1 pitch is hit hard. What a play by Castro. And on both ends for the out. 2 out in the inning.
Oh, my goodness.
That almost flipped the 20-year-old at short, and he turned it into an out.
Oh, what a play.
Great hands on both ends of that play.
Not being able to teach that. Staggering.
Lou Piniella just described him before the game as a quote-unquote major league shortstop. He's got a good arm. Got a baby face. He's only 20 years old.
Youngest player in the majors.
And he can play the position. Made 5 errors after his first 5 games. Made 1 here yesterday. He has a total of 6. But he can flash brilliance too, and he just took a hit away from Albert Pujols. 2 out. Here's Matt Holliday, and there is strike 1 over the inside corner. Nothing but zeros in this matchup between Silva and Ottavino. For the Cubs, their rotation's been pretty good. Swing and a miss for strike 2. They moved Carlos Zambrano out of the rotation, and this week, beginning of the week, when the Cubs are in Pittsburgh, they're going to move Zambrano back into the rotation, and somebody will be out. That's inside. Speculation is it will be the left-hander Tom Borzolani, that he'll go to the bullpen and try and help out the left-hander Sean Marshall, who has become primary setup man for Lou Piniella in that bullpen. That's inside. 2-2. Rano is available. Pitched out of the bullpen here yesterday and is down there if needed today. There's Marshall, who's been busy and been very good. Down and away, full count. Graybo, the left-hander, John Graybo, former Pirate. They thought he was going to be the primary left-handed setup man, and he struggled. Marshall has stepped up. 2 out, nobody on. 3-2 pitch, and Holiday grounds to third. Fontenot picks it up, gets the out. An inning that was highlighted by that play by Castro after 3.5, no score. On the right, watching their son, the 24-year-old Adam, pitch here at Wrigley Field, making his major league debut, and that breaking ball bounces into Derek Lee. It'll be Lee, Soriano, and Marlon Byrd if anybody gets on Fontenot. Nothing but zeros so far, and that fastball misses up. It's 2-0. Derek Lee walked his first time up, and he's on his way to doing it again. 3 balls, no strikes. Here's a 3-0, and there's a strike on the inside corner.
You mentioned it earlier, Joe. Lou Piniella bemoaning the fact that the wind's been blowing in so many times this year. At Wrigley Field, the wind has been blowing out.
Here's a grounder that gets past Ottavino, but a nice bounce for Schumacher, 1 out.
Only 3 times this year has the wind been blowing out here at Wrigley Field. It's been blowing in 18 times. Cubs have played 25 home games. A couple of crosswinds for 4 of those games, but that is highly unusual for the wind to blow out that few amount of games.
Yeah, and Piniella said we're a fly ball hitting team. We don't get a lot of base hits. They're not scoring runs. Good tight breaking ball from Ottavino, strike 1 to Soriano. And fly balls in this park when the wind is blowing in, well, you know what the result is. With 1 out, Soriano takes outside, a ball and a strike. Soriano fly to left his first time up. Mentioned hit .241 last year. He's hitting .307 at the start of the day so far this year, and he's sitting on 299 home runs. That's high, 2-1. Alfonso Soriano at the plate. Starlin Castro made that play in the top of the 4th inning. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Here's a 2-1 pitch. 3 balls and a strike, and Soriano is not just having a good year offensively and in the outfield, but he's doing a lot, Kenny, for Starlin Castro.
Yes, Joe. He literally has taken him into his home. He is living with Castro in his 3-bedroom apartment in Chicago. Soriano says, hey, I want to show him the right way. I want to make him feel comfortable. When he was 20 years old, he had a difficult time himself. He was a minor leaguer with the Hiroshima Carp in Japan.
And with Ken still with us and Tim here in the booth, here's Marlon Byrd. That was one of the problems that you heard early with Hanley Ramirez coming up with that young Marlins team. They had such turnover that there were no veterans around to really show Hanley Ramirez the right way to play, and that came to a head a couple of weeks ago with him not hustling after a ball, 2-run scoring, and then him getting into a war of words with his manager, Freddie Gonzalez. That pitch is up and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
And Hanley having that closed-door meeting with Tony Perez and Andre Dawson. Soriano, one of the few major leaguers who's trilingual. He speaks English, Spanish, and Japanese.
Here's a 1-0. That skips in, and Ottavino, after the 1-out walk to Soriano, is behind Byrd 2-0 and gets a quick visit from his catcher, Yadier Molina. Cardinals basically have a coach in Yadier Molina to help guide Ottavino through his first big league start as we look ahead to the slate of games next Saturday on Fox Saturday Baseball. 2-0 is the count. Here's a 2-0. Ball 3-0, and Fontenot has the only Cubs hit, waits on deck. There's Mike, a 1-out triple in the second, but he was left stranded when Castro grounded out. Coy Hill lined out to center. Here's a 3-0 pitch. 3-1.
3 straight 3-ball counts by Ottavino in this inning.
Battled back to get Lee, lost Soriano. And now the 3-1 pitch to Marlon Byrd. Runner goes. The pitch a strike. Throw down. Safe. And a stolen base for Soriano.
Throw a bit into the runner. Schumacher making a quick tag. He did what he could. Boy, if he made the tag, Soriano was out. But did he make the tag? Close. One more look.
Not much of an argument from Schumacher.
Nope.
Well, Soriano is at second with 1 out, and now a 3-2 count on Marlon Byrd, and a line drive base hit to center. Rasmus will come up throwing. Safe at the plate, Soriano. Down to second, Marlon Byrd. He will head to third as the throw gets away, and the Cubs lead at 1-0 here in the 4th inning.
It all gets back to fundamentals. Had Rasmus hit the cutoff man, Marlon Byrd at least stops at first base. By overthrowing the cutoff man, it skips by Molina. And then Ottavino backs up, but the ball caroms. You can see Marlon Byrd going to second on the overthrow, and then going to third on the ball caroming behind home plate. It's almost a 2-base error from Rasmus. I mean, you could really give 2 errors on that play.
Here's Fontenot adding to the lead as he plugs that right center field gap again. 2-0 Chicago, and like a carbon copy of his triple in the second, Fontenot has another, and the Cubs double their lead.
How unusual is that? I mean, how many times do you see one hitter get 2 triples in a row? Almost never. You call it right, Joe. It is a carbon copy of what he did his first time up in the second inning.
hit the same section of Ivy out in right center field, and Fontenot's got 2 triples, now an RBI, and he's at third. The infield is back in, and Starlin Castro is going to get a visit from Quaddy, the third base coach. Cubs have been 4 for 30 in their last 3 games with runners in scoring position. Coming into today to 2 for 4 today with hits by Byrd and now Fontenot, and showing bunt, no suicide squeeze, and I think a little confused is Starlin Castro, unless that was a safety squeeze and they were waiting to see.
I think that's exactly what it was. Mike Quaddy talking to Castro before that pitch. Castro squaring.
There's another base hit for Chicago up the middle by the rookie Castro. And it's 3-0 Cubs here in the 4th inning. And that'll bring Dave Duncan out of the dugout, and this is exactly what Lou Piniella has been waiting for from his lineup. Production, base hits. Mr. and Mrs. Ottavino with a different look now, as Adam has allowed a walk, a single, a triple, another single, and it's 3-0 Chicago.
Well, the 3-ball counts caught up with Ottavino. 3-ball counts on Derek Lee. As you said, Joe, he got away with it with Lee, and then he walked Soriano on 4 pitches. And with the count 3-1 to Marlon Byrd, Soriano steals second base. He gets a hit on the 3-2 pitch. Fontenot gets the triple, and then getting ahead of Starlin Castro. Castro makes it 3-0.
Nationwide, thousands of communities have gotten involved as Chevy and Scotts have set out to rebuild local ballparks. Don't miss your chance to get involved and to win a new Chevy at ChevyBaseball.com. Here's Coy Hill. This inning would have a much different look to it if you go back, and now they start to stir in the Cardinal bullpen to that stolen base by Soriano. When the throw beat him, the tag missed him. The throw sailing from Molina just a bit. And instead of 2 out, nobody on, and a 3-2 count on Marlon Byrd, it was 1 out, a runner at second. Byrd got the base hit to center. Tim took you through it. The throwing error, the triple, the single. It's 3-0 in the first pitch to Coy Hill. Chopper to second. Schumacher a good play for 1 out, and Felipe Lopez a late throw to first. 2 away in the inning.
Felipe Lopez on the disabled list because of a problem with his elbow, and that is the tight throw that can re-injure an elbow. Very athletic play by Lopez. He appears to be all right. Watch him and see what he has to do to make a throw like that. A lot of stress on the elbow.
Here is Carlos Silva, who's pitching extremely well, and that fastball gets away. He's allowed only 1 hit, struck out 7, and now Silva and the Cubs have a 3-0 lead. Ball 1 from Ottavino. And a swinging strike. It's 1-1. Silva struck out back in the 3rd. He's now 1 for 16 at the plate. Here's a 1-1. That is down the first baseline and foul. Ottavino couldn't get there in time. And it's 1-2. The 3 security guards that are down in the Cubs bullpen.
They thought the ball was fair.
They thought the ball was fair. The inning was over, and they run out and kind of look back at the seats, make sure nobody comes on the field. And I think the guys down in the Cubs bullpen are cracking up. They might have told them, hey, run out there. The inning's over. Here's a 1-2, and Silva checks his swing. He went around, and that's the end of the inning. And now the security guards can come out, and it was a productive inning for, there they go, 3-0 Cubs behind Silva after a 3-run, 3-hit inning here in the fourth. Is on. He takes the mound here in the fifth. He deals with Colby Rasmus, and he misses with ball one. Rasmus then frees in Yadier Molina. Skips Schumacher. If anybody gets on, and between innings, a little tutorial from Dave Duncan, who's being reacquainted here today with Adam Ottavino. Just called up, just added to the active roster and taking the place of the injured and now surgically repaired Kyle Loesch. Rasmus fouls it. That's strike two. Talk with Lou Piniella. We'll give you that interview after Rasmus does something here to start the fifth. Kyle Loesch underwent surgery yesterday for an issue that he's been dealing with, the underneath part of his forearm, his pitching arm. Another strikeout, matching a career high. Carlos Silva gets number 8. Second time he's retired Rasmus. One out here in the fifth, and the first question was about that last half inning. And for Lou Piniella, a good inning by his lineup.
Nice inning. 3 runs. We hit the ball in the gap. We hit the ball up the middle. We stole a base. Things that you have to do on a consistent basis to win. And that was a really nice offensive inning for us.
Lou, without revealing anything, was that a safety squeeze by Castro?
I think that's about what it was. But the pitch was a little high, obviously. Listen, he hit the next one up the middle and drove in a run. That's what really counts.
And how about that play he made on the ball that Pujols hit? I mean, he flashes brilliance defensively.
Well, I told you all before the ball game that the young man could play. He's got really, really good hands. He's only 20 years old, but you couldn't tell by talking to him. He has confidence in himself. He's going to be a really, really good ball player for a long time in the National League.
Hey, real quick, Silva looks terrific for you today.
Well, look, he's 6-0. We traded for him from Seattle, and He won a job in spring training, and he's been pitching really, really well. And he's economical with his pitches. He throws a lot of strikes. He changes some speeds and mixes in the breaking ball from time to time. Yeah, he's been really successful.
All right, Lou, thanks for your time today.
Thanks.
All right. Well, Lou Piniella gets to watch his pitcher strike out the first two. Every time we do an interview with a manager from the dugout, we talk about how great the pitcher is, whether it's Cubs, Cardinals, Yankees, whatever. The next inning, the pitcher falls flat on his face, but Silva has struck out the first two in this fifth inning. He's already struck out the side once in this game, and he's ahead on the count to Molina.
Now you can just see the body language of Silva. He's pitching with so much confidence.
And is there any doubt that pitching in the National League is easier than pitching in the American League?
No doubt. No. Absolutely right. The 7, 8, 9 hitters in the American League are forces, and that is, generally speaking, not the case in the National League.
0-2 is the count. Silva misses off the outside corner, and in particular for the Cardinals, their 7 through 9 hitters in their lineup, a combined .205 average during this season, which is tied for the lowest for the bottom 3 in any lineup across baseball. The 1-2 pitch, reaching for it, a weak swing, and the inning is over. Carlos Silva in control halfway through it on a beautiful day. 3-0 Cubs. Bud Light Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. Back to work is the right-hander Adam Ottavino. All in all, it's been a pretty, I would say, successful debut. He has not been in awe of his surroundings. He looks comfortable on the mound, but he had a rough fourth inning. He allowed 3 runs, 3 hits. There was an error behind him, stranded a runner, and it's 3-0 Chicago as Fukudome leads it off and is up on the count 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. Ottavino brings it and gets a foul tip for strike 1. Talked about Kyle Loesch for St. Louis. It was in year 2 of a 4-year, $40 million deal. He was 15-6 in 08. Was hit by a pitch toward the end of May last year. Had a deep bruise his forearm, and it just never got better. Here's a pitch up and away, and the count 3-1.
That's very unusual for a deep bruise to cause, eventually, to cause a surgery.
Here's ball 4 and a leadoff walk. That's walk number 4 from Ottavino. The Cardinals have no idea how long the recovery will take after that surgery yesterday. Our Verizon game summary. Silva with a career-high 9 strikeouts. Cubs 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position, struggling in that category the last 3 games. And Fontenot with 2 at-bats and 2 triples into the right center field gap. Here's Terrio. Called out on strikes his last time up, and Ottavino falls behind, ball 1. Terrio's grounded out, struck out. Terrio is the definition of a singles hitter. 53 singles. That's the most in the National League. And he led the league in singles last year. He hits it hard. Schumacher can't make the play. The umpire was in the way for a moment. The second base umpire, Dan Bellino, got out of the way, and what could have been a double play ball turns into the 9th error of the season for Schumacher.
That's the most in the major leagues by a second baseman. And you know, I have heard it put forth that on a play like this, a ball hit that hard, that 2 errors should have been given, because that's a double play ball. That's a 4-6-3 double play. And I'm inclined to believe that that would be the case.
Here's another chance. 4-6-3 double play, runner at third, 2 out.
I guess if you give him 2 errors on the play before, you ought to give him 2 assists there.
That's right. And it would be only fair. And Schumacher, who made the error, starts the 4-6-3 double play on a ball hit by Derek Lee, who's 0 for 2 in this game. And now a runner at third, 2 out for Soriano, who started the scoring last inning with a 1-out walk, stole a base, his 3rd steal. Fukudome at third, 2 out, first pitch. Strike 1. Ottavino trying to get through the 5th. St. Louis in the 6th inning will have Schumacher, and likely a pinch hitter for Ottavino, unless they want to stick with him. And then back to the top, Lopez. Good fastball, 94 for strike 2. A walk, an error, double play, and now an 0-2 count on Soriano. Ball 1. See if Soriano can deliver a run with 2 out. 1-2 pitch. Just flipped the bat at it and flips it foul down the right field line. Just spoiled the pitch by getting a piece of it on 1 up and away. Soriano waits for another 1-2 pitch from Ottavino. And a swinging strike 3. Thought for a moment maybe he got a piece, did not. And the inning is over. 5 strikeouts for the rookie Ottavino. 3 runs on the day for Chicago. Will lead it 3-0 after 5. Budweiser is sponsored by Burger King. It reminds you to have it your way. By Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Chevy, every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
How about that shot?
I was reading. What was it?
It was the Chicago River and the John Hancock building.
Man.
What a town.
First pitch, a strike, and now a ball to Skip Schumacher. No action in the bullpen, so the Cardinals are not going to dip into their bullpen yet. They're going to stay with Ottavino, who's on deck. So Silva's rolling, and we'll see if he can get through the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. There's that shot. Wow.
Oh, that is really something. I have taken that architectural tour down the Chicago River. Most unusual skyline in the country.
And that's now the Willis Tower.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Oh, not the John Hancock building anymore. Oh,
Used
that was
to be the Sears Tower.
Sears Tower, that's right. That's right. It wasn't the John Hancock building. It was the Sears, ex-Sears Tower.
Here's Castro throwing high and safe. As Castro has made the brilliant play and now charging, he let one get away out of his right hand. And likely an error to start the inning. It is, and it's number 7 on Starlin Castro.
I think the moral of that story is I should have paid more attention on that architectural tour.
Oh. Hey, whatever. I don't name anything. I do nothing but make mistakes when I do that. Here's Ottavino. He bunts it foul. I know the arch. I'm fairly certain when I see the arch.
Arch in St. Louis. Huh?
Yeah. We're in New York.
Empire State Building.
Yeah,
last
but
week.
even that one, I'm like, Chrysler Building, Empire, what is it? Statue of Liberty, I know that one.
Yeah. Golden Gate, San Francisco.
Gate.
Yeah. Comfortable with that.
Not that smart. Here's Ottavino, who bunts it with serious spin on it, and it rolls back foul. That's strike 2. There it is. Can you imagine Tim McCarver on your tour boat? What a thrill that must have been.
Well, this was the town that Billy Sunday could not shut down. Billy Sunday was a preacher doing prohibition and tried to get Chicago shut down, and Billy Sunday was an ex-major league player.
Here's Ottavino striking out, trying to bunt, and that's strikeout number 10 for Carlos Silva.
What a great job Silva's done all afternoon. But Billy Sunday, a major league player from 1883 to 1890, had 499 games in the major leagues, 256 average. Tried to shut down Chicago and couldn't do it. Now,
can't. I've tried that before, fruitlessly. Here's a ground ball up the middle. A high hop for Terrio, who gets the double play that gets around the error. You may not know what tower that is, but you can get to Joe Stonecraft blindfolded. 3-0 Cubs. that means Marlon Byrd, Mike Fontenot, and Starlin Castro against Ottavino. So the Cardinals have gotten a pretty solid start out of Adam Ottavino, and they don't want to dive into their bullpen this early. So back to the mound he goes. The 0-1 pitch. Outside, a ball and a strike. This is an agent's dream. If he can get through this inning, it would be a quote-unquote quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs or less. A 1-1 is pop foul, out of play, off to the right, strike 2. Byrd is grounded out, singled, drove home a run. He's got 27 RBIs. And his average right around the 300 mark. Started the day at 299. Been very good his first year at Wrigley hitting at home. That is right through Skip Schumacher, who's had a rough year at second base. How about a DirecTV game break? We take you out to Anaheim, California, bottom of the first inning. No score, 2 out, 1 on, and Torrey Hunter gets hit by a fastball from Felix Hernandez. Take another look, and he left the game with a bruised left hand. Went to the hospital for precautionary x-rays. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. And a rather disappointing start for the Angels. They're 4 games under 500. They're 4 games out behind the Texas Rangers in the AL West.
Chris Rose talked about it before the game in the pregame about how well Vladimir Guerrero is doing for Texas. 342 average.
A fly ball into left field off the bat of Fontenot, 1 out.
Well, you think if Vlad Guerrero was with the Angels, what he would have been doing. He has 12 home runs, 42 RBIs, and the DHs for the Angels this year batting a paltry 205 with only 12 RBIs.
Just to clear up, the ball hit by Marlon Byrd went as a base hit. The ball that Schumacher couldn't handle. Fontenot flies to left, so Bird's 2 out of 3. Yeah, you wonder, though, for Vlad Guerrero, if a change of scenery didn't have a lot to do with that. It started to kind of get stale out in Anaheim for him. He had a good postseason last year, had that big hit against Papelbon and the Red Sox in the division series. Had a good World Series. But you look at the comparison last year to this, and the production numbers way up. Those are his numbers for the entire year last year on the left. Runner goes, hit and run. Pujols makes the play. Down to second is Byrd, 2 out. Good play by Albert Pujols on a high chop. And down to second is Byrd for Coy Hill. Hill lined out to center, bounced into a force out. This pitching staff will have a different look to it at the beginning of the week when the Cubs go to Pittsburgh. Not only at some point, and the Cubs have kept it close to the vest, haven't revealed who's being demoted out of the rotation. They will not go to a 6-man rotation. It appears it will be Gorzolani that's demoted to the bullpen. Now they're going to intentionally pass Coy Hill and pitch to Silva. But the Cubs also have an opportunity to bring up 1 or 2 young, hard-throwing right-handers from AAA. Andrew Cashner, a first-round pick, 2008, former closer at TCU. 3-0 in the rotation at Iowa. They've moved him to the bullpen. 6-1 overall in the minor leagues this year. There's the intentional walk to Hill. Or Jay Jackson, who was in the bullpen and now has taken Cashner's spot in the Iowa rotation. Both trying to prove that they're ready for a call-up to the Cubs bullpen, which was really a bullpen, Tim, that was in flux at the early part of the season.
Yeah, General Manager Jim Hendry telling us before the game that either Jackson or Cashner will be called up in Pittsburgh.
So 2 on, 2 out. And Silva at the plate. hasn't looked very good swinging the bat so far today. He has struck out twice, 1 for 17 on the year. Mitchell Boggs starts to get loose. Told you earlier that the Cardinals called up a minor league left-hander, Evan McClain. They're past that point right now because of the solid start that Ottavino has turned in here today, as he's 2-0 on Silva. Cardinals made that roster move, optioned out Joe Mather, added the young left-hander in case Ottavino had a meltdown out on the mound. That did not happen. 2-0 pitch is ball 3, and this would be a minor meltdown if, after the intentional walk, he walks Silva to load the bases. Kosuke Fukudome is on deck. Ottavino walks Carlos Silva on 4 pitches. And Silva motions to the dugout. And Yadier Molina will go out to the mound. Kind of an odd move by Silva, motioning to the dugout like, see what happens when they walk the guy in front of me. It's a walk to load the bases. That is now 6 total walks, including the intentional pass, and they're loaded for Fukudome.
Dave Duncan in the Cardinals dugout calling down to the bullpen. And this move has to be made because of the walk to Silva.
There was Silva.
I think he was talking about his jacket, maybe. I don't need the jacket.
Maybe so. So no jacket for Silva. He's at first, and that will take La Russa out to the mound. No signal to the bullpen yet, as Boggs is trying to get ready in a hurry. And he'll come into the game. So the intentional walk is followed by the 6th walk by Ottavino to the pitcher Silva. The bases are loaded with 2 out, and Boggs is coming in. Wrigley Field, and prior to the first pitch, time is called as Fukudome is at the plate. Bases are loaded with 2 out, and Boggs had to get ready in a hurry. He wasn't up very long before he came into this game.
No.
Fukudome has walked twice. Pitching from the stretch with the bases loaded, 2 out. Boggs finds the strike zone. Boggs has got very good stuff. Stuff good enough that they think someday he could develop into a closer type reliever. Throws very hard out of the bullpen. But he's been hit or miss this season. Inconsistent, trying to figure it out at this level. The 0-1 is just inside, a ball and a strike. There are the numbers for Ottavino in his major league debut. That's inside, and the count 2-1.
Most teams carry 12 pitchers. The Cardinals carry 13 pitchers. And one of the big reasons is the style of managing of Tony La Russa. He loves to use left and right guys out of the bullpen. Goes on matchups. That's why the Cardinals carry that extra pitcher.
Here's a 2-1 from Boggs. It's high, 3-1.
Ideal hitting spot for Fukudome.
Boggs has to lay it in there with a count of 3-1. Bases loaded, 2 out. Here it is, and down and in to force home a run. It's 4-0 Cubs here in the 6th. 3 consecutive walks by Ottavino and now Boggs. Byrd, who led off this inning with a single, is forced home. That run belongs to Ottavino. And now Terrio will be the hitter. He's 0 for 3. Ball 1, down and away. Shadow starting to creep across home plate. There's a runner at second base with 2 out. The intentional walk to Coy Hill. Then a walk to Carlos Silva. A walk to Kosuke Fukudome. And now the count's 2-0 on Ryan Terrio. A Cardinal bullpen that is number 2 in the major leagues with a group ERA of 2.95. And a strength for St. Louis here in 2010. There's a strike, 2-1. And now the next from Mitchell Boggs. Grounded up the middle. Boggs can't find it. Now does, and the inning is over. Cubs get a run. They leave 3 of stranded 7. Lead 4-0 behind Silva as we go to the 7th. Back after this from your local Fox station. We're into the 7th inning now, and a 4-0 lead for Carlos Silva. His walk helped plate a run in the bottom of the 6th inning. It was followed by a walk to Fukudome to make it 4-0. And here for St. Louis, it'll be Ludwig, Pujols, and Holiday trying to get something going. Still only one hit. A leadoff hit by Holiday in the 2nd, and that is it for the Cardinals. Schumacher reached on an error in the 6th. He was erased in a double play. So Silva has faced one over the minimum. The 2-0 pitch is on the inside corner, 2-1. 7-1 the final here yesterday. Cardinals won. Adam Wainwright and Ryan Dempster will hook up tomorrow afternoon.
How about Wainwright's last outing against San Diego, striking out 12 and losing 1-0 on a home run by Jerry Hairston of the surprising San Diego Padres.
Here's a pop-up on the infield. Lee trying to shade his eyes, makes the catch. 1 out. You can visit your local Lowe's to cast your Scott's MLB All-Star ballot and enter for a chance to win a VIP All-Star Week experience, compliments of Scott's. So that's how you do it. And we have some of the voting totals we'll get on your screen for you during this 7th inning. The National League is so far represented by either Phillies, Cardinals, or one Milwaukee Brewer. Of course, it involves Pujols, and he pops it up. Left side of the infield, and it's Castro for 2 outs in the inning. Here's the National League. So far, the voting looks like this. Ryan Braun is the Brewer, then Victorino and Worth in the outfield. Placido Polanco, his first year with the Phillies, in his 2nd tour of duty, is at 3rd. Rollins at short. Utley is right now the leading vote getter. Albert Pujols at 1st, and Yadier Molina behind the plate. Here's Matt Holliday. And there's strike 1. Already a career high for strikeouts in a game for Carlos Silva. He has struck out 10. And he just took care of Ludwig and Pujols on pop-ups. Here's an 0-1. Inside, a ball and a strike.
Joe, talking about those Philadelphia Phillies, they were just swept by the New York Mets this week. 3 straight shutouts. Only the 2nd time in Mets history that they've had 3 straight shutouts in the same series. And that the other back in 1969, and it was against the Philadelphia Phillies. And
with the work that they've done, the Mets are now over the 500 mark, only 3 games out behind Philly. Atlanta's a game and a half out. Washington 3 out. And Florida's 4 out there in last place. So that division wide open at the moment. There's a strike on the outside corner, strike 2. With 2 out, nobody on, 2-2 pitch is hit hard into left center field at the wall. It is off the 368 mark, and Matt Holliday has a 2-out double. He's got the only 2 hits today for St. Louis, and that was a rocket into left center field.
Albert Pujols hit a ball hard to shortstop. Excellent play by Starlin Castro, and now Matt Holliday elevates one for the first extra base hit, and the first time a Cardinal has been on second today.
Brings in Colby Rasmus.
Joe, you talked about the Washington Nationals baseball. Anybody interested in the game? So excited at the prospects of Steven Strasburg coming up in the next 10 days.
Yeah, he's on his way.
Yep.
Finally get to see it. And so far in the minor leagues, there are his numbers this season: 6-1, an ERA of 0.99. Look at his walks to strikeouts. An opponent's hitting 124 against him, and wow, he's coming up early June for Washington. Here's ball 1 up and away to Colby Rasmus. Cardinal rookie David Freese is on deck. Rasmus has struck out twice. And now ball 2, 2-0. Shadow's more of an issue. And action starts for the Cubs out in their bullpen. Looks like Marshall getting loose. 2-0 pitch. In for a strike. That's the left-hander Marshall. Sean has been so good out of the bullpen for Chicago, getting ready in a hurry.
5 wins in the month of May as a reliever. Highly unusual.
It was 2-0. Now the 2-1 is hit foul, 2-2. Rasmus on the year has hit 7 home runs. And what he does at the plate, usually an indication as to how the Cardinals are faring. He's at .373 and 27 wins he's been involved in. Only 119 and 20 losses. He's 0 for 2 today, and the 2-2 pitch. Now he's 0 for 3. Strikes out for the 3rd time today, and that's strikeout number 11 for Carlos Silva. It brings us to the 7th inning stretch. Jim Belushi will sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Silva's pumped up. He should be. He has been outstanding. By Lowe's, experience Lowe's, let's build something together. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated for men. Mitchell Boggs back to the hill. First pitch, a strike to Derek Lee, who was 0 for 2 with a walk. Bounced into a double play his last time up. 4-0 the Cubs lead behind the excellent pitching of Carlos Silva. 96 from Boggs. You can see the good stuff he has. And the count's 0-2. Here's the next, and it's in the dirt, blocked by Molina. A fresh piece of gum for Silva, who's allowed 2 hits and struck out 11. What a pickup he's been for this Cubs team. That's off the end of the bat. Still 1-2. Today's MLB on Fox Tune In to Win bonus question is how many base hits will both teams combine for in the 8th? To answer, visit foxsports.com/tunein and make your prediction for the final out of the 7th. If you're not in the game, sign up today for next week's MLB on Fox game at foxsports.com/tune-in. A strikeout of Derek Lee. And that's the way the bottom of the 7th inning begins. Now it's Zambrano, who was slated for a start early in the week at Pittsburgh when the Cubs go on the road. He joins the left-hander Sean Marshall. Carlos Silva, in case you're wondering, is at 100 pitches for the day. Soriano 0 for 2 with a walk, a steal, a run scored, strike one.
The big difference, Joe, in throwing a good game and pitching a good game. Carlos Silva this afternoon has pitched a good game. Here and there, changing speeds, in and out. Cardinal hitters have been thrown totally off balance.
There are the numbers for Silva. Meanwhile, Adam Ottavino, I thought, all in all, pitched a very solid game for the Cardinals.
He did.
Problem for him, the 6 walks. A pretty good debut. And striking out is Alfonso Soriano. 2 gone in the 7th. And it's not just our opinion that Adam Ottavino pitched well. Here's home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt moments ago.
That was that kid's first start?
He did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did for his first time. This isn't an easy place to make your first start. In this series, he did a great job for all the...
So the words between Yadier Molina and Hunter Wendelstedt, and we certainly thank Hunter for wearing the microphone for us today. They don't have to, but did. And to follow up on his point that it's a tough place to make your debut, Adam is just the 5th Cardinal since 1960 to make his big league debut against the Cubs here at Wrigley. P.J. Walters did it last year. And Mom and Dad have to be pleased with the effort that they saw from their son here today. 1 ball, 1 strike on Marlon Byrd. And now ball 2, 2-1.
We have been checking out John and Eve Ottavino and in between innings, and they have been receiving emails. You can imagine all the folks from Brooklyn, New York, which is Adam's hometown, how many have called and told them that they were on television.
And this game is on in New York.
An umpire talking about it. Yep.
So you know they're watching back in Brooklyn. But Ottavino and the Cardinals on the short end of a 4-0 game, and now Byrd is jammed. Freeze makes the play. Wide throw, but out. As Pujols tap dances across the bag. We go to the 8th at Wrigley. 4-0. Cubs on top. Well, a pitching change for Chicago. Carlos Silva could not have been any better. 7 innings, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. By far his best start. Set a career high for strikeouts, and he was in complete control. The only guy to get him was Holiday with 2 hits. And here's David Freese against Sean Marshall. Ball 1. 100 pitches on the nose for Carlos Silva. Freese grounds to third. Backing up is Fontenot. Makes the play, 1 out. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. And of course it's Silva. Just the 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, no walks. Just as Silva gives the Cubs the edge today, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. So he's on his way unless the bullpen blows it to a 7-0 start. After going 5-18 over the last 2 years with Seattle.
Really a remarkable turnaround by Carlos Silva, and the chances of the Cub bullpen blowing it with Marshall and Marmol out there, the M&M guys.
Here's a base hit into left field off the bat of Molina.
I'm going to say the chances are slim that they will blow it, because lately, particularly Marshall and Marmol, they have been close to perfect.
Well, Brendan Ryan is coming up to pinch hit. Hawksworth is getting ready for the Cards in their pen, and Carlos Zambrano is getting ready for Chicago. Zambrano pitched yesterday. He's on his way back to the rotation. This is the last day he's available out of the pen. Boggs is finished as Ryan hits for him. Mitchell went an inning and a third. 2 strikeouts, a walk. No hits. Strike 1 to Brendan Ryan. They're the games next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, including the Tampa Bay Rays at the first place Texas Rangers. Good matchup there. Brendan Ryan had a 4-hit day on Thursday, but he has really struggled with the bat. After showing a lot last season, very good with the glove is Nick Stavanoa, who's in the on-deck circle. So it's Schumacher being lifted for Ryan. Stavanoa will hit for Boggs. That's strike 2 on Brendan Ryan. Schumacher was 0 for 2, reached on an error. His last time up, committed an error in the field. Ryan trying to get something going for the Cardinals. 1 on, 1 out. And a foul out of play off to the right. One ball, 2 strikes, Brendan Ryan. With Molina at first, and a grounder foul.
Yeah, that curveball from Marshall is so good. He starts it in the middle of the plate, comes in off the plate, and the only way to put it in play is in foul territory. He gets a lot of foul balls from right-handed batters in foul territory down the third baseline.
One ball, 2 strikes, still the count. Brendan Ryan trying to fight his way on base. And he floats one into shallow center. That ball might drop. Terrio out, can't get there. Going first to third is Yadier Molina, and the Cardinals have something going in the 8th. A pinch hit, base hit by Brendan Ryan.
Excuse me, Joe. Very, very good base running by Molina. He read it right off the bat, knowing that there's no way for Terrio to get to that ball. And with 1 out, ends up on third base.
So now Nick Stavanoa will come off the bench, and it appears that Zambrano will come out of the bullpen. So Sean Marshall gives up a base hit to Molina, a flare base hit to Brendan Ryan. And with Stavanoa announced as the pinch hitter, Marshall is gone. And Carlos Zambrano, former starter, future starter, is coming out of the bullpen for the Cubs. $1 million deal. They took him out of the rotation as the opening day starter got knocked around by the Braves. That's when Hayward made his debut and hit a home run against him. Came in a lot slimmer than he was in years past. He struggled in the bullpen early, and then when word came that he was going to go back to the rotation, he started to pick it up and actually pitch better out of the pen. He'll become a starter beginning of next week. Nick Stavanoa up there ready to swing. Strike one. Zambrano, they took him out of the rotation. Theoretically, he would be a nice weapon to have setting up Marmol, but I think he has made his feelings known that he wants to be a starter, and the Cubs are acquiescing and putting him back in the rotation.
I think he's more valuable as a starter, and I think putting him in as an eighth inning specialist.
Here's a ground ball to short. Castro a flip for the out. Over to first. Got them both.
How about that? I was just going to say, making him an eighth inning specialist was the wrong move. Not today.
Not today. 2 hits. Zambrano gets a double play ball. Bottom of the 8th inning. Big Z pumped up 4-0 Chicago. And Blake Hawksworth will take over after Boggs relieved Ottavino. Hawksworth now in the 8th. Bottom part of the order coming up, starting with Fontenot, then Castro, then Coy Hill. Good job by Zambrano coming out of the bullpen, getting the double play ball, staying away from the top of the lineup of St. Louis. And it's still 4-0. So Hawksworth to work and a strike. Blake was sidelined with a groin strain. Slowed down at the end of the last homestand, but he's back, hard-throwing right-hander. 3 of the younger right-handers that the Cardinals are proud of in their system coming up. Felipe Lopez has moved to second base, and Brendan Ryan, very talented glove man at short. Got a pinch hit, base hit at the top of this 8th. Fontenot gets a piece. It's still 0-2. Hawksworth, Boggs, and Ottavino, all system guys that have come up and pitched here today at Wrigley.
Speaking of a system guy, Carlos Marmol continues to throw in the Cub bullpen. If you have a guy as valuable as he, you're going to sit him down in a non-save situation.
Here's Fontenot being hit by a pitch. It got away up and in from Hawksworth. And down to first he goes.
See Lou Piniella looking concerned. This ball very, very close to the head. Looked like it hit Mike on the right bicep. He appears to be all right. That was close.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
Yes, it was.
Here's Starlin Castro. And there's a base hit into right. Castro has a 2-hit day. And for Starlin, he was hitless in 17 at-bats before a 7th-inning single yesterday, and now the 20-year-old. This should make everybody watching the game, at least most, feel old. A guy who was born in the 90s, playing at the big league level, gets a base hit to right, and he's 2 for 4. And it's 2 on with nobody out for Coy Hill.
You may see a bunt right here as the Cubs try to add on. Nope.
Hawksworth took something off the pitch, strike 1. On deck is Tyler Coleman, who's been so good. The 24-year-old rookie. Very good off the bench. Hit a pinch hit home run here yesterday. Right now it's Coy Hill, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. And time called by Molina. Actually asked for by Molina, granted by Wendelstedt. A hit batsman, a base hit. There's the bunt in the air, and a diving try by Hawksworth doesn't make the catch. Throw down to second, everybody's safe. And the bases are loaded with nobody out.
There were 2 guys that were fooled on this play. One guy was Hawksworth, the pitcher, who thought he had a shot at catching the ball in the air. The other was Brendan Ryan at shortstop, who thought he had no play, and there was a play. He's off the bag at short. Had he been on, perhaps Molina's throw beat him.
And now Hawksworth is checked. I just talked about his groin strain. Here's the near catch. He rolled over that left arm and that left shoulder.
And the ball.
Visit from Barry Weinberg, the trainer, but he appears to be okay.
You could see the runner at first base, Starlin Castro. Hawksworth having the wherewithal to hand the ball to Molina. Molina threw the ball to shortstop Brendan Ryan, who wasn't on the bag. What an odd play that was. I would imagine the sacrifice. It might have been a base hit.
It is a base hit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Here's Tyler Colvin. You can hear the ovation for him. Cub fans are starting to really like this guy. Off the end of the bat, Hawksworth comes home for 1, throw to first, no double play, and the bases are loaded, 1 out. So the force out at the plate. And It's up to Fukudome.
Well, the force out of the plate, the throw should have been to the first base side, but it was the third base side, not allowing Molina to make the transfer easily. Had he done that and thrown the ball hard toward home, perhaps you get the double play.
Brings in Fukudome. He's walked 3 times, struck out in his first at bat. Bases loaded, 1 away. And a ball inside. And despite all this, and with no save situation coming in the 9th, Marvel's still up.
Here's that play from Hawksworth. Watch the throw. It's toward the third base side. And Molina, because he had to reach toward the third base side, can't make the transfer in time to get Coleman at first base.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Fukudome. Off the end of the bat, 2-1. Kosuke started the day at 304. He's hit 6 home runs. He's been a fast starter in his time with the Cubs, but he has tapered off each year in the second half.
Remember, he was the all-star starter in center field 2 years ago. Last all-star game played at Yankee Stadium.
That's well wide in the count, 3-1.
Major league hitters salivate in these situations, knowing a pitcher's got to come right in there with the bases loaded.
Second time Fukudome's been in this spot. Last time he walked. And Hawksworth steps off. That was against Boggs. Ottavino went 5 2/3. Boggs an inning in the third. Now Hawksworth. First inning right into trouble. 3-1 pitch. Fly ball into center. Pretty well hit. Sends Rasmus back. Tagging from third and scoring is Castro, and it's 5-0 Chicago. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Budweiser, is sponsored by DirecTV for the most sports period. By Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew. And by Lexus. Unprecedented access means unprecedented values now through June 1st. So Fukudome drives home his 23rd run of the season. Second of the day, and here's a strike to Terrio. It's 5-0 Cubs as we play here in the bottom of the 8th. The 0-1 to Terrio. Late swing and a foul. Strike 2. Terrio hitless on the day. Good matchup tomorrow with Wainwright and Dempster. Dempster coming off a 3-0 win Tuesday over the Dodgers. Snapped a personal 4-game losing streak, and Wainwright off a loss, but an impressive performance in San Diego. 0-2 pitch is popped up. Foul ball. Molina gives it a look. Is there a play? No.
Wrigley Field wind took care of that foul ball.
And there's not a ton of room back there anyway.
That ball in the direction of, not broke in 1959 here, Joe. Wrigley Field. Pat Piper was not only the PA announcer, but he kept the balls also. And he'd run them out to the umpire and was the public address announcer.
Here's the 0-2. Down and away. Terrio checked his swing, ball 1.
I think Pat Piper was here for about 70 years. And he had his little booth right in that area where Yadier Molina just ran. The older folks in the audience will remember Pat Piper. What a dear man he was.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. First and third, 2 out. Hawksworth deals and a foul out of play.
He'd announce the lineups and he'd say, "Tension, tension, please." Starting lineups today.
Did it all.
He did it all. He could do it all.
1 ball, 2 strikes. First and third, 2 out. And a ground ball left side for David Freese. Bad bounce. Makes the play, but pulls Pujols off the bag. He was able to stay on for the out. Just long enough. It's 5-0 Cubs as we go to the 9th at Wrigley. Good place if you wanted to be a fat seagull, because there's plenty to eat. Here's Felipe Lopez, top of the lineup for St. Louis, and Jeff Stevens takes over. So it is not Marmol, it's Stevens. Nice job by Zambrano. Came in, got the double play ball off the bat of Stavanoa. 0 for 3 is Felipe Lopez, and he takes strike 2. Cub bullpen had to figure itself out. Roles had to be figured out early in the season. Almost a completely new cast from the year ago down there. And it's going to change at the beginning of the week, as we talked about, with Andrew Cashner and Jay Jackson, 2 prospects, 2 hard throwers that are pitching well at AAA Iowa. Could be part of the overhaul and the change when Zambrano goes back to the rotation. There's ball 2, 2-2. Borzolani is dropped into the bullpen. That would give them 4 left-handers in their bullpen, which would be too much. Here's a 2-2. Lopez took strike 3 over the outside corner, 1 away. Time now for a DirecTV game break. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. We take you to Yankee Stadium. The Indians were way down. And then it was a 10-9 game becoming an 11-10 game, becoming a 12-10 game, becoming a 12-11 final, 13-11 final. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. That was a game that the Yankees, Tim, had Sabathia on the mound. They score 11 runs, and they walk away from the ballpark with a loss, thanks in large part to a 7-run 7th inning put up by the Indians.
Game sounded like an auction. Give me a 10, give me 11. Do I hear 11? Do I hear 12? 13 it is.
Got up to 13.
Sold.
Kind of butchered that highlight, but that's about as good as I can do. Jason Donald was the first guy who had a 2 RBI double. Then Matt Laporta and Marson scored. And Trevor Crowe, you saw his single to right off the job of Chamberlain. Chamberlain struggled, and he's been really good or really poor here at the early part of 2010.
Yankees 3.5 games behind Tampa Bay, who play later on tonight in Toronto. So they're 4 back as we speak. But normally, you're right. I mean, get CC Sabathia 11 runs, and you expect to win.
Count's gone to 3-1 on Ludwig after the strikeout of Lopez. Stevens brings it, and it's a strike to keep Ludwig at the plate. Full count.
I said Toronto, the Tampa Bay Rays play the White Sox tonight, the Southsiders.
Here's a 3-2 and a grounder hard hit to third right at Fontenot. His throw across is perfect. 2 out. Congratulations to these winners. James Thomas, TL. Winning today's MLB on Fox. Tune in to win. Visit foxsports.com/tunein to see your results. If you missed this week's game, make sure to play next week. Cubs looked at this series coming in. They saw Carpenter pitching Friday. They saw Wainwright pitching Sunday, and a rookie getting the ball today. They needed a victory, and they are 1 out away from it, thanks in large part to the pitching of Carlos Silva, who will go to 7-0. As Stevens misses with ball 2, 2-0. That's provided Stevens or somebody else gets one more out before the Cardinals can come up with 5. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Outside, 3-0 with Holiday on deck. Holiday with a 2-hit day, and he will bat one more time. Walk keeps the game alive for the Cardinal cleanup hitter. Our Lexus Hybrid's game-changing player is changed into the Lexus Hybrid game-changing plays with the defensive gems that the Cubs have put on display here today. Starlin Castro made that play on a ball that was hit like a rocket off the bat of Albert Pujols. Here's a pitch up and in, ball 1. 1-0 to Matt Holliday, who singled in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th, doubled in the 7th, the only extra base hit today for St. Louis. A visit from Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach. Here are the game-changing plays brought to you by Lexus Hybrids. The diving catch by Marlon Byrd early in center. The play by Starlin Castro on a ball hit to his left. Good dig by Derek Lee on the other end of it. And the young shortstop also has 2 hits and an error on the afternoon. Stevens got a quick visit after missing with ball 1 to Holiday. Followed the 2-out walk to Albert Pujols. Closed stance of Holiday, and that misses 2-0. And that means that Marmol is going to get up again. There's a strike, 2-1. Just about everybody remains here at Wrigley Field. And this is the beginning of a fun sports day in this great city with the Blackhawks and Flyers playing tonight. There's strike 2.
Well, the reason a lot of the people stay here, regardless of the score, is to hear the Cubs song after the game. It's the best song in the major league. And they all know the words to it, too.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Stevens trying to end it. Here it is. Another foul. Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals beginning tonight. Game 1 and their first trip to the finals in 18 years, and trying to win their first cup since 1961. Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita. The Flyers, what a run they've had. Here's a little fly ball into right. Fukudome ends it.
Now spin that record.
And the Cubs win it 5-0 over their rival, the St. Louis Cardinals. They are headed into the bottom of the ninth inning with Seattle and the Angels playing in Anaheim. Kenny Albert and Eric Karros will be along. There it is. 5-0. Cubs win it.